And welcome back, everyone, to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Otis. I could not find for life me anyone else in my book who would give me the suggestion. I have to believe they're in there. So if you believe you gave me a suggestion, let me know. But from Otis, Batman versus the Creeper. It's been a while since we talked about Batman, I guess, and Creeper, I think, showed up a couple weeks ago. Creeper's one of those guys, and Batman's one of those guys that just keep coming back eventually. Let's get it right out of the way, right out the gate. With prep time, Batman would beat the Creeper. Like, hands down, no argument, bar none, he would beat the Creeper. This is because Batman can literally beat gods. He can beat Superman, Darkseid with enough prep time, planning, all that. He can beat them, no problem. So, with prep time, Batman would win. But that's, so, good night, everyone. No. So, let's look at this from the more immediate view. Let's look at it from the scenario of Batman first encountering the Creeper. I think that is the best way to look at this fight. Because again, with prep, Batman can beat nearly anyone. And the Creeper is far weaker than most of the other individuals he's fought. So without prep time, would Batman stand a chance against the Creeper? Would he be able to handle this thing? Well, to answer that, we got to break down the combatants, as always. Batman, Bruce Wayne, saw his parents get murdered one night after coming through the alley, after a movie, and the Batman was born after that. He vowed vengeance against the criminal who did it and crime in general. Batman is peak human condition. In fact, he's actually, I believe he described as being a little above peak. That's how much he works out. But he is a master of, I think, 127 martial arts. He's a genius-level intellect, a master detective, brilliant strategist, and analyst. He is skilled in deception, ninjutsu. He is skilled in stealth. He carries a wide array of gadgets on his person, including batarangs that create hypersonic sounds, that explode, smoke grenades, anesthetic gas grenades, shock gloves, plastic explosives, a whole bunch of things that analyze other things. Batman's suit is also capable of taking basically point-blank gunshot from low-caliber weapons. High-caliber weapons, his suit is not designed to handle that, but it's still durable enough to take a lot of damage and keep going. I believe it's fire-resistant it's electric-resistant and fireproof. His cape can turn into a glider. Batman is one of the most dangerous individuals in DC, in comics. That's big, and this is due to A, his genius, B, his skill, C, his mental state, because he's kind of paranoid, and D, his wealth that you add on there. So Batman is a skilled opponent in almost any circumstance. Batman's also smart enough to know when he cannot win a fight, and so he'll opt out to then go analyze his opponent and come back better than ever. I will not be using that as a basis for the fight, though, because let's put it this way. If Batman retreats, that's still a win for the Creeper. And if Batman comes back and says, I have now had prep time, well, the Creeper still won the initial encounter, which is what we're looking at. So yeah, I guess you could say if Batman does survive the encounter, then sure, the Creeper still wins. Regardless, the origins of the Creeper are still, I believe, to this day unknown. What it is believed, though, is that he is some sort of ancient demonic entity. The real Creeper is the sail-like parasite that exists on the back of the neck. It's when he does the whole flailing out his frill. That thing in the back, that web thing, is apparently the real Creeper. The form we see here is just the form the Creeper takes to basically be autonomous and move around in the world. Then we know this for a fact because when the Creeper damaged his freaking head in the second movie, he tore off a kid's head, ripped off his own head, put it on, the thing attached on, and then basically reformed the Creeper. So we know that whatever the Creeper is, it's that thing on the back. But that being said, most people wouldn't know that, so you're still fighting this thing, which has I don't know. We don't know how long the Creeper's been around for. I believe, though, it's been worshipped by Mayans and Aztecs, like as Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent deity that demanded sacrifices. At least I believe they say that in like one of the comics. So yeah, it is pretty old. So that's at least a couple of millennia minimum worth of experience under its belt. But let's just get into the main weakness right now. It only shows up every 23 years for 23 days, and then it goes back into a hibernation. So it's a very sporadic, very short-lived being when it's around and out and about. However, it is still immensely terrifying. Capable of hunting by smell alone, is a third nostril, which it uses, I believe, to locate pheromones for fear. I think that's how that works. That's how he's still able to find them. And it can even suss out like body parts it specifically wants. Again, I don't know if it's ever actually stated what the third nostril, what it's actually for, apart from smelling, but like specifically with the smelling. I was always under the idea that it was sussing out fear. It was looking for like pheromones that we secrete when we're afraid. It could though be that is just a supremely good sense of smell. And that scene in the police station where it was trying to find them, because they were behind the two-way mirror, it was having trouble finding them, although it did eventually find them. It's insanely strong, capable of lifting a grown man or grown woman, grown man, doesn't matter, grown human being, like with one hand with ease. It's durable enough to be run over multiple times and then just kind of like, hobble away. It was still very injured from it, but still it was able to, survive it. It's also durable enough to just tank gunfire and high caliber gunfire too. It just went right through the damn thing. It can fly because it has wings. It has talons on its feet. It's pretty intelligent as well because it knows how to strategize. It's a skilled weapon user, preferring to use more medieval weaponry like an axe, shuriken, blades rather than firearms. And its most dangerous ability is the fact that it's near impossible to kill this thing. Like, let's be fair. No one ever, firebombed it or dropped a nuke or anything like that. It's the argument I always make when I look at series like Supernaturals. Like, they say, oh, these jinn, they can only be killed by dipping a silver blade dipped in lamb's blood. Has no one ever tried to nuke them? Nuke is an extreme answer, but it's still, has no one ever tried to just literally incinerate this thing, flash burn them? Vampires, werewolves, they all have these specific weaknesses, but in the modern era, when new things get invented, have you ever thought, I don't know, throw one of each in the epicenter of a bomb testing site and see which ones come out alive? I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. So, regardless, and by conventional human standards, where, Batman doesn't carry a nuke on him, the Creeper is kind of hard to put down. The Creeper does feel pain, though. The Creeper can be injured. When, in the second one, when he's, skewering him with the rod and even sticking it through his head, he is screaming in pain. He got blown up, and yet he was still trying to assemble himself. It is hard as hell to put this thing down, but not impossible to put it down. If you're able to, say, blow it apart, you could, in theory, keep the body parts separated. Because it should be noted that the body of the Creeper in the second movie, when it was blown up and scattered about, was only coming together because the parts that could still move were coming back. Things like a torso, for example, can't move on its own. Its head theoretically can't move its own. The fin can, the sail thing on the back can. But a 1 foot isn't really going to be able to move very much. So if he's blown into enough pieces, he really is going to have a hard time reassembling himself. It's not impossible, but if you can keep the pieces separated, then you should be able to keep him from regenerating long term. And then if his time runs out, then you gotta wait. Then he's 23 years later he'll wake up. Which, if this were Batman and hypothetically he wins, he keeps those body parts separated, individually in boxes, somewhere safe, buried deep, or he just incinerates the entirety of the thing. He just makes sure to get rid of this thing somehow, some way. So all that said, how would this fight work? Is the Creeper in Gotham, or is Batman outside of Gotham? See, the Creeper operates in rural areas so as to not attract a lot of attention. Because if he's in a city, he's gonna probably be attracting a lot of attention, a lot more attention, because it's a lot more populated area. But in a crime-riddled city, this would be something akin to Predator 2, I imagine, where the Predator is just being mistaken for gang, violence in his actions. So the Creeper could be doing the same thing in Gotham. So the Creeper showing up in Gotham, I think, is, granted, his vehicle is still, it still stands out like a sore thumb, but still. So maybe the Creeper starts taking people, eating people, taking their body parts. Batman discovers the Creeper at one point. He's got someone, he's kidnapped him. He's like, help me! And the Creeper's just kind of like, and he just, and all of a sudden he hears the battery, it hits him, and those things are sharp. They're non-lethal, but they're sharp, and they're kind of like embedded in there. It's like, you're gonna let the girl go. Get out of here! Thank you, Batman. What? You're not. So what are you? I don't know. So you're the. I've been tracking your movements for some time. So what exactly? You're the one behind the disappearances. And the Creeper's just like, yeah. So what exactly are you? And he's just looking at him, like he doesn't see, and he's just analyzing him, like he doesn't, maybe he has a condition like Croc, I'm not familiar with this one, and just kind of like, he just pulls, and he literally just pulls the batterings out, and he throws his own shuriken. Batman tries to avoid, and he quickly notices this thing tracks his ass, like, what that is, like, what is that? And he has to block, and luckily, as sharp as the shuriken is, Batman's armor should be durable enough to take that thing, no problem. And so, Batman just, but it's embedded a little bit, it's like, it's sharp bone. No, those ruins. Mysticism, and quickly the Creeper's on him. He's got his axe raising. And comes in. Batman quickly dodges, starts delivering strikes to the Creeper, and the Creeper is very tough. Batman is very powerful for a human being, but Creeper is still physically more durable and stronger, in my personal opinion. I think we've just seen him do better strength feats than Batman has. I think he has, like, moved vehicles around. He's even, like, flipped cars. So, strength-wise, he is stronger than Batman. And durability-wise, he can take more hits. He has support being shot and just shot through multiple times and just not flinch. But that doesn't mean Batman's shots don't at least annoy him or even mildly hurt. Like, Batman's still powerful and he's a skilled fighter. So Batman quickly comes in, maybe even, like, knocks the Creeper off his feet. Just Creeper gets it back up, has his axe. Batman Batman is now just throws some shurikens again. This time they're like smoke bombs, like the Creeper's just. Unfortunately, because of the smoke, he can't. He's like, he can't smell it. It's like, I see. So you're not. I can tell between the mysticism, the ruins in your appearance. You're not human. Fine. That means I don't have. Which means my guess is you're some sort of demonic entity. If only I wish I had Jason Blood here, but I'll be able to take you on myself. And that means because you're not human, I don't need to be as kind anymore. And Batman comes in, he's got his shock gloves activated, and he starts delivering some hammer fists, boom, boom, straight to the midsection, straight to the jaw. And Electrified and Batman punching him with his armor on him, that one's hurting the Creeper a bit. Creeper's feeling it. But he quickly just comes in, just even gets his shuriken back, tosses it again. Batman, though, this time blocks it just straight out, but the Creeper comes in. Axe nearly gets the Dark Knight, and it does come down and even damages his armor. And he sees the mystical enchantments on the axe. He comes again. The Creeper finally, though, grabs him when he does another shot, like attack, grabs his leg, just kind of, and just throws him around a bit. Batman is just on the ground, and the Creeper then comes up. His wings are open. He's hovering. He's like hovering over Batman a little bit before coming in with his talons. Batman now throws another battering at him. This time the Creeper just grabs him. He's about to crush it until he hears the beep, 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 beep. Poof! Just blows up in his face. Batman just. He's basically dishing out all the bit of punishment he can on the Creeper. And batarang explosions have varied in terms of power in the comics and in the series, but they're usually like low-level grenades. That's usually, they can even be used to blow a hole in like a stone wall, so they got power to them. And a Creeper kind of like getting hit not point blank, but having things hit him head on, it's not blowing him up, but it's taking chunks out of his body, certainly. And the Creeper's feeling this, like, he's trying to fly away. Batman's got his grappling hook, grabs on the Creeper, he's flying. It's basically like a man-bat scenario. Batman's like, ugh! Batman's struggling here. Creeper finally just, cuts the line, and I think his axe would be sharp enough and powerful enough to cut the line. Batman, though, gets a tracker, throws a tracking battering on his coat, his jacket. Batman gets into his glider for him. He's trying to track him again. Gets another grappling hook out, grabs him by the leg. is able to like get on, say, like a weather vane on a roof and just twists it and just pulls the creeper down. And then the creeper just comes down. This time he comes down with the axe. Right, Batman once again throws some batarangs at him, and again this time he just kind of bats them away. Only to reveal that they're sonic batarangs. Just the hypersonic is just messing with his senses. I've already informed some of the Leaguers. A couple of John Constantine will be here momentarily with some backup. And the creeper just finally starts roaring. And Batman's kind of like has to break his neck, so the roar is just kind of almost deafening even beyond his sonics. And he just breaks the sonics, comes in, just crashes into the Batman, and they kind of go flying off the rooftops, and he just bites into Batman's like shoulders, because I can imagine, because he is kind of as intelligent and as humanoid as he looks, he is a feral monster. He really is. So he's just kind of taking a chunk, almost trying to take a chunk out of Bruce's arm, and Batman just finally, and he just basically is able to finally get into his utility belt, activate some gas. The creeper just, and he's now, the creeper's wobbling a little bit, and then Batman unfortunately lands hard, and the creeper's kind of wobbling a little bit. I'm almost out of tricks here, but still, and the creeper is just shaking it off, and his body's still torn up, but he's kind of just walking towards Batman. And Batman suddenly got one last trick up his sleeve. It's like, let's see you come back from this. And he's put just as much plastic explosive, just bat-shaped gel on him as possible, and just poof, and blows his ass up. And so he's been blown up, and Batman's like, and all of a sudden he sees the arms starting to move. He's like, what? What is this thing? And he even sees the thing kind of crawl almost like a xenomorph, like a face hugger, because it kind of looks like that. And just kind of walking around, reattached the head, and he's just looking on, and the creeper's just looking at him. It's like, you really are you immortal? What exactly are you? And just as he's finally getting back up, just all of a sudden, like a spell catches him. Like, my Betsy, you're having a day, aren't you? Shut up, Constantine. And so the creeper just, this thing, it's an ancient being, hungry, malevolent. Don't worry, we'll have a nice safe for you in the House of Mystery. Come along, then, and he goes away. So, I think because of the amount of superhumans Batman has dealt with, Killer Croc, Poison Ivy, I mean, Bane is super. He's human, but he can enhance them. Mr. Freeze, Man-Bat, Clayface. Batman's rogue gallery is surprisingly comprised of a lot of. There's a lot of regular people too. But there's a good chunk of superhumans in there, some of whom are far more dangerous than the Creeper. Mr. Freeze could easily just freeze the Creeper and it's done. Poison Ivy is far more dangerous than the Creeper. Bane with the Venom is far stronger than the Creeper. Killer Croc, too, frankly, is more powerful than the Creeper in most interpretations, I would say. Most interpretations. Some are weaker than others. Clayface easily can beat the Creeper. And yet Batman can go one-on-one and beat every one of these individuals. The Creeper, while physically stronger than Batman, is probably no different than, say, at least from a physicality standpoint, a Killer Croc to him. The flight is akin to Man-Bat. That's the thing, when you really break down the Creeper, just from a physical perspective, mind you, he is kind of just an amalgamation of a couple Batman villains from a physical standpoint. Granted, and Man-Bat is also physically strong, too. So it's really not hard to believe that Batman could probably take the Creeper. Although, because of the Creeper's regeneration, enhanced senses, durability, endurance, it would not be easy for him to do that. And some magical weaponry added on there. Batman would have his hands full with the Creeper, especially on a first encounter. But I think Batman probably could beat the Creeper overall. Now I'm going to get a bunch of people say, you don't know the Creeper. The Creeper would make mincemeat of Batman, because I constantly get that. I had someone do that with Punisher vs. Rambo, saying, you know nothing of the Rambo universe. Like, yes, I do. Anytime someone says that, okay, not anytime. I want to be very fair to the people who are right. Like, when I know nothing about a character, and I say that character should lose or win, they're right. I know very little about that character. Rambo, Creeper, that's not one of them. I know a fair amount about those individuals. It's very clear you're playing up to your biases when you make comments like that. Because here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem to end off this video I have with comments like that. I have actually no problem with the comment itself in concept. Back up your shit if you're gonna try to debate me. Back up your shit, man. Don't just say, nah, the other guy will win. I hate the nah, they'd win. Or I hate that. I absolutely hate it because you're not having a conversation. You're just saying you think they win and you think someone's wrong without actually backing up their statement. Anyway, I brought this up, but it really is key when you can tell someone also doesn't know what the hell they're talking about and they're just playing up their biases. Someone, when I did Jason Voorhees versus Dracula, said that I knew nothing about I didn't scale Jason properly, which, to be fair, when they brought up the boiler feat and I looked up and found that was a legitimate feat, I'm like, oh, okay, I can actually use that for future videos. I wanted to actually say thank you for letting me know that. But then they went and said, you're shallow. You don't go into any real scaling. You're just shallow. I'm like, well, that's kind of rude, but whatever. I don't care. But then they say, oh, by the way, if you're compositing Jason, he's like omniversal. I'm like, no, he's not. And do you know where that omniversal statement comes from? A Wikipedia that literally says every other Wikipedia is wrong. This is the legit Wikipedia. Yeah. So I'm not trying to be mean here, but either you're very uninformed, or you're very biased, or you're very naive, or you're an admin to get a notification or get notice for that site. That's what you're doing. So that's my biggest problem when people say, oh, you don't know this character. Like, back up your shit. Back up your shit, because otherwise you're just a voice in the ether. That's all you are. And a voice that I'm going to ignore. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't respond to a lot of I respond to some comments, I do. But if I were to literally respond to every comment, I'd never get any rest. So, yeah. Anyway, I digress. I would give it to Batman, but I think it's a hard-fought win. I think it's a hard-fought win for Batman. And there's definitely scenarios where the Creeper would pull out the edge. Batman has gotten cocky before. Batman slipped up with his rogues. Like I said, frankly, I think the Creeper is kind of a really good amalgamation of a lot of his rogues. Again, like a Killer Croc mixed with a Man-Bat. That's kind of how the Creeper physically is. Not like physically in terms of like his appearance. Although, honestly, you take out the mandibles, this could be a version of Killer Croc when you really look at it. He's reptilian looking. So, yeah, I mean, now you think about it, this could be a Killer Croc makeup. Again, just take off the those little mandibles down there. Well, actually, not mandibles, because that's the fin. I wonder what you'd call those. Little arms, little teeth. It makes them look a little bit like the Predator, a little bit. But I don't know what you'd call those. Fingers? But anyway, I digress. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Later.